we could just jump into our conversation. Is there something that you want to start with, or like you feel more inspired to talk about?
Not really. We went through what we're going to talk about, so it's pretty like I basically last 20 minutes, 15 minutes. I was just writing down some notes for myself. That was about it.
Yeah, so I think maybe we could start with this. Actually, when we had our first conversation together, I was kind of surprised by, not necessarily surprised, but I really liked your approach or your description of how, and I feel like actually this applies a lot to poker, making your decision or rationalizing your decisions after playing a hand. So like doing some hand reviews, reviewing your game. And so you said something around the lines that when you talk to someone about your struggles, your challenges, or your uncertainties, you already have the answer in yourself, but you almost need this person in front of you to help you kind of find out what's that answer.
Yeah. So what I was saying there was basically that in general, like I think it applies like everywhere in life.
Yeah.
You have to know what you want to do, and like I know if it's like people having a fear of actually doing things, that's probably a big part, because like the fear of failing in general, like it's yeah, it's just inside human. Like let's make a sample. You go to a club, you see a girl you really like. What is the like? You have zero reasons not to go and talk to her, right? Like you literally have zero reasons, because like, what's the worst thing that can happen? She says like no, reject, not interested. Like, it's just a fear of failing, right? You should still do it. Like you like her, why not? So, and like another example yesterday I brought up is like, in general, like especially like if you have some like tough decision in your life, or like you're like uncertain about it, so obviously you're struggling with the decision, like it does help to talk to you. Like if you have mental issues, it does help to go and talk to you, for example, in poker, just because like even though like you will help to walk through the thought process and all of that you might struggle because you're just thinking it yourself. So, and like in the end of the day, if you're not happy about it, or like you just feel like you need and like you need to think it through, and need to have a like action or response. Like I think yesterday I brought up the girlfriend example, or like going to a friend to talk about it. So if you broke up with a girlfriend and you have, let's say, two friends, like let's say it's Bob and Jordan, and you're uncertain if you wanna go back together or not, and you know Jordan is most likely going to tell you, yeah, sure, go be with her, you love her. And then you have Bob, who never liked the girl, is always against the girl, and you know Bob is most likely going to say like, no, fuck her, like whatever. Like subconsciously you will go to a person that will give you tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah, you're gonna look for the answer that intuitively or instinctively you have inside of you, of wanting to go back or not, and so you're gonna find or confirm that answer with that person.
Yeah, and it will give you like power or a feeling like, okay, this is the right thing to do. Obviously, in life it's not that simple and all of that, but yeah, and like with struggles, I do think like just talking through will give you the understanding and sometimes even explanation from some other perspective. And once you have that understanding, that will leave you to accepting the thing that it is how it is, and that will help you move forward with it. So the struggle like ends there, but sometimes it takes a longer time, sometimes shorter time. Like,
I like your example, and here how I want to frame this. Like, and I put it in the perspective of me as a mental game coach. When you go when you go ask for advice from a friend, you're looking for an answer. If you come for advice to me, what I'll do with you is help you figure out all the puzzle pieces, but then you'll be the one telling me where they fit. So like you've said, when you talk to someone about your struggles, you try to figure out what's important, what's relevant to that situation. But I'm never gonna go and be like, yeah, go back with your girlfriend, or no, don't go back,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Like,
you have that answer.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's good to use a psychologist or like somebody who's like who would never tell you exactly what to do. Obviously, there are like in the same like example, you never know how things are. Let's say the girlfriend is beating you or something, and it's abusive or something. Like then it's like it's not normal to be in such a relationship, and that person should get help herself. But like obviously it's like a more deeper like whatever the situation is, but like to keep it simple, yeah, like talk to somebody who won't tell you what to do, but just gives you like due sides of it, how to look at it. And you can like the person should choose himself what he wants to do.
I'm kind of curious how that would relate to poker, in the sense that there are some clear situations where you're punting, or like that's a clear mistake, it's a no-go. That's similar to the example you give, where if your girlfriend's beating you, probably should not come back to that person. So in poker, there are those situations that seems to be clear. Are there any situations where it's more gray and there's no real right or wrong answer to a play? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
So, well, because there are so much unknowns. But if you look at in poker, but if you look at like just go from GTO perspective, like let's say there is a situation you're gonna run a sim. You will get the answer what the GTO would look like. That's the one way to do it. There are I would say like a lot of people in poker have like you will get into a like back in before I got involved with BBC and Jordan, I actually had that point where I was looking at like all the information material in the internet. There are guys who would say like you should play GTO. There are guys who will say you shouldn't play GTO, and like for me, I just got so lost. Like, what should I do then? Because like I do think like in general it's in a lot of areas in internet there are so much information, it's very hard to like know what is true, what is not true. Like you can go with so many different approaches, but in poker if you get into that situation, for me it was like getting pretty simple. I'm just going to go, like at that point it was Jordan. I'm gonna go and get coached by him, and I will do whatever the fuck he tells me to do. And well, he's obviously a very GTO approach player, but you can also learn exploitative strategies. Problem with exploitative strategies often is that how certain can you be on your read?
Yeah.
Because most of it you just don't have data. You just don't. And if you don't have data, you are going to make exploitative play based on what? Based on nothing. Just because you thinking something is true based on like maybe 10 hands you have.
Or maybe your feelings or emotions, like your fear. Maybe you're gonna make decisions based on your fear, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're in the final table and it's a big spot for you, a lot of money. That might also be true. Or like definitely is. I don't think I ever had that because I've always been like kind of robotic when I play, because like there can't be emotion because like if there are like sure there are emotions, but like it's still like my decision shouldn't be like emotion shouldn't have anything to do with my decisions how I play.
I think that's actually a good transition to talk about emotions and how you approach Because you're telling me emotions shouldn't have an impact on how you play based on basically because poker is such a rational or like almost a solvable game. So you know that
it's just the math.
Like,
how
it's
do
the math,
how do you
right?
put your emotion to your math? I do think it's a little bit in with live games, because like you see how people are like you because what you see, if you can rationalize that and be like, okay, he's like, whenever he's bluffing, he's throwing chips like this, for example. But like when he's not bluffing, he's like very like slow emotion. Just a random example. Like you should count that in to your thought process and ranging the guy, because the range, like in like often it's like, oh, it's like my like, does PBC teach you for playing live? Yes, like the math is same. Like there is zero difference in math. Yeah, only thing with live poker is you can range because you can see people how they react. You can just make assumptions. Like let's say the guy pre-flop acts very strong, and you have like paying attention to that, and he's supposed to be opening 30% or 40% on the button. Maybe now, because how he is acting, you can actually think or like have a reasonable assumption that he's actually opening maybe 20 to 25%, or like his range is actually that. So now you're not playing against 40%. You need to just adjust to play how do you play 25%. And if you have studied and you know that MP is opening 25%, your strategy from big blind should be how you would play against MP instead of button, because you just do the ranging a little bit differently. But like the math, if you look at the math is like, you can't argue the math, you can't change it. Like it is what it is. And that's why like emotions in like, does math have emotions? No. Like, but yeah, like with emotions and like what you see and stuff, I do think like you can start ranging people a little bit better here and there. It's probably true in online as well. Like if people are acting like their diming is like a little bit different all the time, and you can pick up, like, let's say he plays like certain parts of his range very fast, and when it's if somebody's playing slower based hand, it's typically like a really strong hand or a bottom of the range. So that's another way you can actually start ranging people a little differently. But like emotions, like that doesn't mean anything, right? Like there is no rational like it gives you zero edge on it.
It sounds like you're saying it gives you zero edge, but at the same time, if you're tuned into those emotions or maybe the sensations that you have about a situation, you could actually use that at your advantage.
Yeah. I do think like the sensation is a good word. Like, yeah, if you have that sensation or like that feeling at that point, but like that feeling, how do you develop that feeling? That is like by observing and rationally thinking. Like you should take it into account. But by emotion, I think I meant more like I think he's strong and I don't want to be in this spot. I'm gonna now fold. Like something like that. That would be emotional reaction.
Yeah, acting just based on fear or anger, like. Yeah. Okay, I get that. And I guess I want to summarize this because it's funny. I've been working this morning on the physical sensations and their relations to making your decisions. And the way you're describing it, I feel like it fits perfectly, where sometimes you're going to have a physical sensation or a sensation that you can't explain. Sometimes you will be able to explain it, sometimes not. You know, like this kind of gut feeling. And the question becomes, can you rely on that feeling or sensation, or do you have to rely on your rational thinking to make your decision in that moment?
Yeah, and I would say it's just rational decision all day. Like there have been countless spots where somebody like puts you in the spot, and you're like, "Damn, this is a call," but like, you're getting some type of feeling. I'm sitting here in my computer just playing. Now I'm getting a fucking feeling because somebody clicked the button somewhere in Russia, that maybe drinking vodka with his buddies don't even know what he's doing, and I'm like, oh, this feels like this. But like, I do think that like through the experience, like, and like some things you think of the game, maybe not in a level that you're conscious about it and you understand it, like you can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just often it just feels like wrong. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're putting emotion into your decision making there, but it shouldn't be. If you can't rationalize and explain that emotion, it shouldn't be an equation.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best way to summarize what the point we're trying to make here, that you have this feeling or sensation that's coming. Are you able to rationalize it the same way you said buttons should be opening 40%? I feel like I have this sensation that he's opening 20-25%. I feel like he's tighter, more conservative. Can I rationalize the sensation to change my decision? Because normally your rational mind would tell you this is the range you play versus 40%.
Yeah.
And now, because of the sensation that you're able to explain rationally, I'm going to adjust my game, I'm going to adjust my play.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's the only moment or situation where you're going to change your decision making, is when the sensation makes sense. Instead of like just being feared of losing your stack, that's not a rational or good reason for playing differently, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you often hear like in like if I stream or like watch some other streamers and they're like, oh my god, it's like going all in here. It's like crazy. It's such a high buy-in. Like, it's irrelevant. What matters is like, is it mathematically correct play or not?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that matters. Like, if you look at that professional point of view,
Mm-hmm.
rest is like, yeah, it's just emotions. Like,
And it sounds like the way you're saying it, because I feel like there are some, like, I feel like you're one of those players that is very strong technically. And so because of this knowledge that you have about poker, you're able to rely on your rational mind and you know what to do in different spots. So because you know what to do, there's no emotion for you to feel. You know how to react or play in a situation.
yeah, well, you don't always know, but like, you have some type of idea and you do your best what you can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I'm pretty sure everybody will have those emotions even playing online. Like I do that, or like there are like players we call field players. There are quite a few in high stakes as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like we okay, let me think. Yeah, I guess we can talk about Connor. So Connor is a player who has probably used solver. This, like, he has seen solver solutions, and he's like playing a lot. He has a lot of feels, like, let's call it feels, how to play against certain players.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it was year ago. I don't remember exactly when, but Gunnar did a session with Jordan, and because Jordan is coaching and running all the sims, Jordan is like giving all the explanations. Connor can't give those explanations because he isn't doing it. But if Jordan is looking how he's playing, somehow he's so good that he plays pretty close to what the answer is. Yeah, he makes mistakes like everybody is making mistakes and all of that. But like, it's just a sample of like, because he plays so much, he adapts like what everybody else is doing. Like, you can also reach the conclusion over there.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's still like thinking in a high level, and his game is really good because of that. Eventually, I do believe it. Eventually, I do know yeah, like, we study together. He studies with Donka, and like, because there is a lot of more sims he's seeing and all of that and explanations, like, he will keep up. But like, in like, everybody who's not in my opinion, people who's not using solvers in 5 years, it doesn't really matter how talented you are. I just think like, at some point you cannot beat the game that well anymore. It might not be true if there is some poker booms coming, and like,
Mm-hmm.
I just mean like very reg heavy games where everybody's
Right.
using solvers and all of that. Like I do believe like we are heading that way, because like if I have all the answers, I know all the answers, and you're still operating by your feels or some randomness what you see in the tables and try out and something like eventually those players I don't want to say all of them, because like I am pretty like amazed how good how well Gunner plays without using solvers. And there are a couple I don't want to name names, but there are high stakes regs I do know they don't really run any sims. They just like they're just doing their thing, and they're like one of the some of them are actually really big winners in the game still. So somehow they manage to do it.
Yeah, but it sounds like the answer, like you said, is they've accumulated so much volume that they are able to arrive to the same conclusion based on all the assumptions that they have about the game, based on all the rules that they've created around different spots or different. So basically, if I'm playing against you who's GTO, at one point I'm gonna understand your strategy, so I'll be able to play closer to your strategy.
Yeah, I do think like they are just mirroring what others are doing a lot. Like somebody's using small bet size. If you never run a solver, you don't maybe like do it. But if everybody is doing it, you're playing every day. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that because like it seems to be a thing. Like I think Daniel Negreanu, I think it was like in his vlog or something. There was some late reg to WSOP event. He had no idea that it's profitable on the last minute to jump in, and he went to the line and said like, yo, look at all these smart guys. They're jumping in the last minute. It must be profitable in ICM because they did the calculation. So I'm gonna jump in as well. You don't need to do all the work. You can just see what other guys you know who do the work do, right?
Yeah, interesting. Sounds like we're kind of getting away from, like we're moving from the emotion part, and we're now becoming hyper rational. So I'd like to kind of bring back the conversation around emotions, because you've told me how you do experience emotion. You're not a robot. Like you will have emotions coming up, and I'd be curious to hear how you manage them in game, because you've mentioned something around your ability to acknowledge emotion, but then being able to block them until you're available to deal with them. You've said something along those lines. So yeah,
so but let's say I'm getting bad beat. My first thought, like I can feel like emotion coming, and like the first thought, like I'm like, bro, it probably happens within a second of your mind, because like otherwise I'd be tilting already, right? So I can somehow like just like rationalize it and choose to like, okay, like I understand like bad beats happened because I have been doing it such a long time. It's like it's irrelevant to react to it. So because I'm acknowledging that emotion, I'm like, I don't really need to react to this thing at all. Obviously sometimes you're gonna curse or something. I do think that helps, but like it's kind of like still somewhat to some extent a choice. Do you want to do it? You can also like with meditation, like if you meditate, you can just observe what are you feeling that moment. It's kind of same, but it's not like you're in a really relaxed state. And like you can just kind of choose if you want to react to it. Like I actually thought of really like last night going to bed, I was like, wait, the fuck do I think like this? But like really extreme scenario. Let's say there is a guy who just shot you in the arm,
okay,
and he's chasing you. Are you going to react to that you got shot, or are you gonna run because he's trying to kill you? You're not going to react to that because you need to get away. So it's kind of same thing. Like even though that happened, you just don't like you're choosing to ignore it because you have something more important to do. And I do think like that actually brought up, even though it's super like weird example, it actually brings it like out pretty well. Then what happens, like you get the emotion, now you you either stop, like in that example, and getting killed, or it's like, okay, fuck this at the moment. I'm gonna keep moving forward.
Yep.
My more important thing that is playing and making sure I'm playing best game I can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can curse at that moment, obviously. Like I mean, like if you're getting shot, like you better curse.
I feel like that's like the perfect example of how, and so for the people that will have watched the Mental Game Bundle, there's this emotional system that I kind of use and describe where you're gonna feel some emotional tension in that situation, and the emotional tension and the emotion will force your brain to start to pay attention to that thing. But if your brain sees that something more important is going on, it's gonna prioritize what's most important and kind of avoid or forget about what's least important. So in the example you gave, you get shot, but your brain has a decision to make here: is it more important to stay alive, or is it more important to attend the wound that I got shot?
Yeah.
And in that moment, your brain makes the decision to start running because this is what's most important. So you don't even feel that the pain in the moment. You feel the rush to run away. And so I feel like it's kind of applicable to poker. And I'd be curious if like the mechanisms are the same, but sounds like you're able in that moment to tell your mind that this bad beat is not important. I need to focus on my other tables. So that's where I need to put my attention. So there's no point for me to react or to act on that emotion in that moment.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing is, like, let's say I got the bad beat today, and let's say I got it now, and now from 6 hours I'm gonna finish playing. It's really, very fucking hard to start reacting. Oh, I got bad beat like fucking 6 hours ago. Like because it's emotion. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna like now need to like deal with it. Like, and with bad beats, like if you think about it, they're gonna happen a lot. And like in the end, it's like by the time you're done with your running, you just don't care about it, right? Like,
I want to use that example. So you said bad beats, you don't care because they will happen a lot. So you've created an expectation that this thing, bad beats, they happen. And so there's no point for me to react because this is something I know that will happen. So your expectation match what's going on in your life, right? Because if you would expect to never get bad beat, you would always get angry every time you get a bad beat, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it comes actually back to the struggle, dog. If you can really understand the variance in poker, like you can't really understand it, but it's pretty normal. Like you can ask any poker player, they will tell you like they got multiple bad beats. So if you understand it's going to happen, and you can accept it, and once you accept it, it's like even though it happens, you get the emotion for it. It's still like you can still move on. It's easier to move on once you accept things, right?
Yeah.
And it's like even if I start playing, because I have done it for so many years, I already accepted it, right? One thing to say about like bad beats and like people being like, oh, like do I need to be like a robot? Like no, like I'm cursing all the time. Like it's fine. Like I do think it's healthy as well to like curse at times, especially like you're just expressing your emotion. It's whatever, and then move on. Like if saying fuck every time you're getting bad beat helps you move forward, say fuck every time. Like just move forward after that. Like if that's your like trigger or thing to do that. Like because there are like, I think I mentioned it yesterday as well, where I do think, like, to me, at least at some point, a lot of mental game coaches from poker, like, obviously, I have only seen not much, but what I have seen, there is some type of a picture, or like, it have made me look at it as like, you guys are trying to tell us like, be a robot, because if you're a robot you will always have your A game, but humanly it is not possible.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no point in trying to reproduce something that you can achieve.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like in the end of the day, it's just a way how can I deal with it? How can I deal with it better and all of that? Like you will never be a robot. I mean, maybe if Elon Musk like helps you, but like in general, like it's not gonna happen. You're still gonna have
Right.
the feelings and all
Right.
of that.
But so bad beats happen, but how do you deal with a situation that at one point seems to be always coming? Like the example you gave me, that it's been the 10th time that you're finishing 10th, or you're bubbling the final table for the 10th time in a row, and you feel like every time you're gonna get there, you're always gonna bubble the final table. So almost feels like every time you're there, this is what's happening. Like,
Yeah, I do think like in those spots, because like I know a lot of poker players who's because in poker the variance is so big, and often it might even take you a year to out like it actually takes you a years, but like in a year period, let's say every time you go deep in a big buy-in, you will get dent, and your smallest buy-in that like you really don't care, you're gonna win that tournament. But in the end, you will always be like on a down, like obviously if you're getting dent a lot, you will be on a downswing as well. And like over the months, it's going to build up and up and up, and like then you have like one of the some biggest spot in your life, and it happens again. Like that being that does feel like I have had those spots. It's always feels so like depressing, and like it's like your mind is blocked to see a future and like rationalize it and accept that it's whatever, just because it's like such a long period of time that you're dealing. It's not like the bad beat story where it happened, whatever, I'm gonna move on, and you don't need to deal with it, because like if it's your job, you're a lot often, maybe for, I would say probably a lot for a lot of people, typically they can't afford to lose maybe that much money, or let's say even typically what I'm like recommending, if you're playing poker, you should always have 1 year of living money. Let's say you have been on this type of run for 10 months. You haven't been able to cash out. You have your stuff you need to take care of, so that will definitely like play into it as well.
yeah.
I have had that once in my life, but it ended great because I won a lot afterwards. But like I do know there are a lot of people who struggling with it, and like and with that frustration, the tilting apart will also come up more often. The bad beat, you're not taking those bad beats in those spots that well anymore. It like the struggle is like way higher, and for me, I have just like rationalized like those emotions are there. I will react to them in some ways. But yeah, like it's just like I guess I have rationalized it, like also like because of the feelings, it like eventually it will go away, and I believe if I keep doing it, like the emotion will go away, plus I will still get back to where like I will outgrind the variance, I will be like back to winnings. But like my question for you would be like, what would your tips or suggestion would be in for somebody who's like being in that spot?
Yeah, it's difficult, but because there's so many variables. But let's just take this. Let's forget about like life bankroll. Like let's just take the situation where it feels like every time you're getting deep in a tournament, you bubble the final table. You're in that situation. So, and the way you described it to me, I feel like it's quite accurate. Your mind starts to believe that this is the outcome that will always happen in that situation.
Yeah, at some points you're definitely like I've been there, like it's like
You know it's coming.
Yeah, you know it's coming. Yeah.
And so your mind is playing a trick on you, that it starts to believe that this is the new normal. And like you said about emotions and those situations, at some point they might feel like this is your new normal, this is your situation. but these things don't last. And so if you play long enough, I can assure you, you won't bubble the final table all the time. Like, there's no way. There's just no way. But also, what's difficult is to change your mind or your mindset around that situation and to start to believe that there's some hope that actually you might do a final table one day. Like, having the belief in yourself that this is going to happen, because at the moment, it feels like there's no hope. There's no other outcome than finishing 10th.
Mm. But how do you build such a belief? Because like at that point, like, it is kind of depressing. You're definitely thinking more on the emotional side than rational side. So how do you build go back to irrational and like understand like those emotions will go away? It's not rational to think how I'm thinking, and obviously it's super hard to put it in practice. But like, how do you like? What would be the things you should be start doing, maybe, or habits to develop or something?
Yeah, that's kind of tricky, right? A big part of it is actually talking about this, like we're doing. Because in the past couple of months, you've started to create this belief. The belief that you're always going to bubble.
So we're going back to like, go talk to Frank.
And so you want to rewire your brain and start to rebuild beliefs around your game. And like, if I were to take you as an example, what's difficult is when you don't have past experiences that can prove the belief wrong. So if this is your first year playing and you're on that huge downswing, it's going to be difficult to tell you that actually that's not what's happening. Maybe I can tell you, look at 10, 15, 20 other players and see how actually you realize that there's hope, there's a chance that this won't last. So that's difficult when you have an inexperienced player. But let's say we have someone who's at his 4th, 5th, or 6th year playing. The first place I'd go is look back at your career for the past 5 years, not just the last year where you've been experiencing your downswing, but actually look at your past successes in your poker career and see how this is different from what you're experiencing in the moment.
So, and immediately what I would think of that, I would just be like, what my graph looks like. My graph would look like this. And it's like, it's growing, like, why am I sad about it? But like, I do like that idea, as we talked earlier. Just go and talk to somebody and he will give you the fresh perspective and like helps you work it through in your mind, because like you're not capable or able to tap into enough of your rational mind to deal with it alone.
Exactly. Your emotional state is blinding you and you're not seeing the entire picture. You're focusing on one thing, and you said the word perspective. I think it's all about being able to create a different perspective, creating some space between your situation and yourself. So this is my situation, but when I look at myself, I see all the skills, all the knowledge that I have to beat the game. All I need to do now is beat variance.
This actually fits very well into fixed mindset and growth mindset.
Let's go there.
So in that moment, the person who's in that spot, because your beliefs are, it's not going to like get any better. There is no growth. You are actually in a fixed mindset. But if you had a growth mindset, you would see that, I'm just gonna keep working. It's gonna be okay. Like all of that. So I do think like that actually went pretty well into that topic.
So for a moment, you started to believe that your situation is fixed. It will remain this way. But if you have this growth mindset, you create that distance, that perspective, and you actually realize this is just one obstacle in my journey. Like
exactly.
How can I overcome it? And maybe like that sounds oversimplified, because the example you gave, you're on your 10th month of your downswing and you have 2 months left in savings. Well, that's your current situation. How do you want to adapt or adjust your game selection, your buy-in level, and try to decide how you want to approach the situation based on what you know? So how can you make your situation better based on where you're at in your situation. And maybe you shouldn't get to that 10th month of downswing if you can't sustain a longer
Yeah,
downswing.
yeah, exactly. You should be like I often see that happen to with myself as well to some extent. It's like you're going to think about I guess we can talk about goals. So you're gonna put the goal on the paper.
Mm-hmm.
This is my year goal.
Yeah.
My year goal is to play this limit, play these games. Now this happens because you said it, like let's say 10 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot because you put it there, you cannot change it. Or like if you don't revisit that goal,
Yes.
you're not going to actually do what you should be doing and like trying to get better and at top of the things. And like that would be very very fixed in that situation, I think.
Oh man, I think your example is so perfect. So you're on January 1st, you give yourself this goal for the year. I want to play these games, these stakes, I want to win that much money. And like you said, this creates a fixed state or a fixed goal that you want to achieve. I think there's value in that goal, but then I think there's value that at the beginning of every month, you want to readjust and revisit that goal and see, do I need to change my goal or my expectations because it no longer fits my situation? And that's your growth mindset, being able to adapt, to adjust your situation based on what's going on.
Exactly.
Instead of being fixed. Like if you get to the 10th month and you didn't change that goal and you're in the situation where you're going to be broke in 2 months, there's something that should have been done earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like you shouldn't be so fixed to it. I do know in Bast, I have actually done something similar with like, I'm gonna do it like this. It's gonna be like this. Eventually, you're gonna change the goal, but like you're so like, oh, this it has to be like this because I thought like this. But like in the end of the day, you should always revisit your goals, I think, or like just think like what you're doing, where you want to go. Because like if you think back at whatever you did 5 years, like it's going to be changed what you want to do now that what you wanted to do then. So, but in shorter time, it's just changing less on the bigger things. So why not always like revisit your goals and stuff? What you have?
Exactly. Yeah. Because what if you're really playing well and everything's going great? Don't you want to adjust your goal higher? Put your goals higher? So like same thing goes if it goes well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to limit yourself in a situation where you would have more potential? Probably not.
Definitely not.
Yeah, right.
It's probably it's definitely not. Like, but yeah, I do think like there are a lot of like in general, I'm also have done it, but like there are a lot of people who's in poker that are very fixed with mindset. I used to do some of it myself. For example, you're gonna play a hand that you're uncertain of, but you got like a beat. You're gonna run a solve for it. Now the question is, what are you doing with the solve? Are you going to look exactly the line you did and get that like dopamine rush or whatever you get from it? That, oh yeah, I made like a frequency play that's okay. Or that's very fixed. You're gonna look the entire sim, think through your thought process. What did you think in that spot? Like look at the whole ranges, all the hands. Like, are you doing correctly? And you actually learning from it? Like that's I do think like some people are very fixed in that setting. I have done it myself. Like, oh, did I make the right play and all of that? Because like I have run so many sims. But in general, it is a growth mindset. Even with bad beats, it's kind of like similar. Like even if I lose with aces against kings, whatever it is, I might not do it right away, but I'm very often on break. I go to break. I'm actually analyzing some hand in my brain, like it's not like analyzing. It's just questioning. Like, could I have played it different? Like, it doesn't even matter. It was the most standard thing or whatever. It's just like, could I have played different? Yeah, I guess if it's all in and the call and you have aces, like there's nothing to analyze. But there, it's still like you can always think about like the ways you can get better or you can just be like, it is what it is. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do think like in general, I do think it's actually uh scientifically proven that everybody who has a growth mindset are going to achieve more than a fixed mindset. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure there are done some studies on gates and like shown how that is going true.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure, like you said, about the numbers, but it makes sense to believe. Like, just taking your example in mind, you have this huge amount of knowledge, you have the proven skills that you're good at poker, but you continue to question your rational thinking, your decision making, and this is what actually allows you to continue growing. Because some people, once they think they have the truth, they're gonna use that and they're gonna stop questioning their rational.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you know it's there. It doesn't really matter. I like it's always like I don't know. I'm questioning so much things in life. Like I always constantly questioning everything. Like I'm questioning like different poker models, for example. I'm questioning. I'm like trying to figure out what could be better here. Like, but it's still like often its answer is nothing. But I'm just questioning it to make sure what I'm doing is correct, or like correct to some to believe what we have today, because like obviously there are limits. In 100 years there will be better computers, better everything, maybe a breakthrough in math and all, unknowns and all of that, and that's going to play a big part of actually getting maybe more accurate solutions than we have today. But most of the stuff, like it's been proven that this works, so maybe we are not like 100% GTO or like accurate, but we should be pretty close
Right,
for most part.
I'm kind of curious, really, like a quick example that I would be curious to hear about your thoughts on. Would it be fair to assume that when you have kings in a situation and you go all in against aces, would it be fair to still have a small question around maybe I could have folded, or try to figure out if there was a way to get away from it, or does that become too do you know what I mean? Like, just not taking for granted for a moment that going all in with kings is the only way.
So I can give you an example.
Okay.
You're on a bottom with 10 big blinds. You're going all in with kings. You're getting called by a big blind with aces who covers you, and you're gonna bust the tournament. It's plus EV, no doubt about it. I'm gonna run a solve for it, and Solar will say you should min raise there as well. At that point when I jammed, did I think about min raising? Like there is no question. There is no way I can get away. I do have thought about like, is there a way I can get away with this hand? But like this sample is just so obvious. There is no way at this point. But this is the question. Like you go to tell your friends like, oh, I jammed kings on the button. I got called aces. I lost. Like, bro, I'm pretty sure that sample actually would Solar would actually say you should never jam because min raising is higher EV, and that's like an example. Like, did I use the highest EV option? Also, aces. Like, if you want to take the analyze even further, if somebody jams aces, maybe aces. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna look it up, but I'm pretty sure aces should actually call. So now, what can you do? How can you adjust your strategy to somebody that is jamming his top of the range for going post flop? Like, there's so many ways you can analyze and go deeper and deeper with it. And like, but most guys would say like, yo, I just got a bad bit. Even though it is plus CV, your play has like all of that. But why not analyze? Even though like it's probably most standard spot, right? But you can always go deeper and deeper with it.
Yeah. So you're saying that maybe a recreational player would just be like, I shoved kings there. I know it's profitable. That's my assumption. It's good. I don't need to think about it more. But someone else would be like, is there something else that I could have done there to get more EV in that situation, for example? So that would be one way to question something that is known to be true. That is, shoving kings there with 10 bigs is profitable.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like because we're playing No Limit Holland, there are so many strategies. Like even though we're running solves for one opening size, one
Three
three
betting
bet
size.
size,
Yeah.
and all of that. But like I also have questioned that like should we run maybe two sizes because I already know it's going to be used. But then if you think rationally, okay, if I get two sizes, that means I'm gonna have to study two ranges, and going post flop, I need to rerun everything, and I need to restudy everything over there because I'm using these two sizes. My ranges are different now, and like it's just so much work, and that's why you need because poker is just so complex. You need to keep it like to some extent simple or simplified for yourself
Yep.
because like there's only so much time that you have to put into a study. And like if you look at the EVs will probably like the EV is not going to worth it if you compare to like let's study big blind versus button blind or blind versus blind play. Like there is no EV probably compared to that spot that I don't I can't play every flop correctly, but like I can put time in there, and putting time in there is probably going to be more profitable than studying like stupidly many sizes. And
Yeah.
like
Kind of your goal in those situations is to create a framework or a model that gives you enough information that you can try to guess good answers, kind of. So you have a model that provides you with an idea of the direction you want to go. Maybe you won't play perfectly, but you have the idea behind it that makes sense.
Yeah, and the EV loss is just so minimal.
Becomes minimal,
and like and in general, like because we're not robots and bots, you're going to like as a human you're going to not mix enough, and like you're going to like actually misplay pretty much everything to some extent.
Yeah.
It's just to
that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Actually, I think that's a good place to wrap up the conversation, and I kind of wanted to talk about or give some takeaways based on what we discussed together. So first piece around like talking with someone about your struggles, your challenges, and that person might help you figure out the puzzle pieces in your life and also make sense of every pieces and try to help you find the appropriate answer for you. So that's something to keep in mind. We talked about emotions, a lot of interesting thing about emotions where you've said this idea that first you want to acknowledge them and be able to accept them, and then you can try to decide if you want to attend your attention or not. So you really said this.
Yeah, but it's
choice.
not like it's not that easy to do. But like if you can acknowledge them before you actually react to it.
Yeah.
You do have some type of choice, not always, but like you're giving yourself a chance to have a choice at least.
Yeah, and it's not easy, right? But just saying this, some people might have not realized that they have a choice if they want to react or not to their emotions. That's the starting point, because I feel like some people, they don't even notice or realize that this is an option. You don't have to react.
I can actually give a tip to try to do.
Go ahead.
Every time you try, you like it doesn't really matter what you're gonna do. Every time you're having an emotional reaction, before you react, just breathe deeply or count to 5 in your head. And every time you like, I think I did it by just taking a few deep breaths before reacting, because like those 3 breaths will give you enough time to rationalize if you want to act to it. It's not always easy, but by reacting, you can take it so far. If somebody makes a joke, you're gonna breathe and you're gonna think, even if it's funny as hell, if you want to react to it or not. If you're gonna do it a lot of times, you will actually start seeing like because most of the stuff we humans are actually reacting to, it's so pointless. It's like it doesn't really matter, and once you understand that as well, it's like it doesn't really matter. Like I don't want to react to it, so I'm not gonna react to it. So I do think like that is maybe one like dip or something that people could try and do. Like next time you're gonna get the bad bit, just take three deep breaths, and then your choice. Do you want to react or not? And if you're gonna keep doing it, you're gonna build some type of system in your brain where every time something emotional is going to take place, you're gonna think before you're gonna act.
Yes.
It's not always true, because like there are some really big life shit that happens, like you are going to react, like, but like for me, I have been like somewhat doing or like thinking like this for a long time. So even if I like, there have been some situations when I have been drunk where I can actually like think rationally, even do like, if somebody would look at me, it's like no fucking way. It's just like, I'm just gonna think it through really quickly. Obviously, it's not as fast as if you're sober, because for obvious reasons. But yeah, I do think like that would be actually a good tip to try and do.
Yeah.
Just breathe before, or count to 5, count to 3, and then choose.
Yeah, you said two things interesting. The first one was actually using your breath as something to kind of distract your mind or allow your mind to think rationally. So take those deep breaths, allow yourself just enough time to think, and then decide if you want to act or not. And you said something very interesting. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Like, this emotion doesn't really matter. And
yeah, most of them they just don't. It's just experience.
Yeah.
It's a short experience of emotions.
But so that's your belief, right? So you have
Yes.
a perspective around emotion that is very helpful for you, that you know this. So the goal now is to get people that are watching this video to start to develop this belief, or start to understand that those emotions, they don't necessarily matter at the end of the day. Yeah, if you're in danger, you see a bear running at you, you might want to
you better go emotional and run.
better run or something. But like, when you get a bad beat in poker, you're not in danger. There's nothing wrong happening to you, so you don't need to react in that situation. So I really liked how you mentioned this.
I do think it like the breathing and just counting. It's not the only thing. Like, you can clap your hands, you can do whatever, like whatever you would like to do. Do something ridiculous. If you do something ridiculous, you're gonna probably laugh at it. To be honest, like, it's just gonna happen like that, because like I don't know. I don't know. Do them push-ups every time. Like, try not laughing, because like you got emotion and you're gonna start doing push-ups. You're gonna be like laughing and making push-ups and be like, what the fuck am I doing here? But like, it's just like, think whatever you can think of that helps. I do think like it's just having that layer built in before for rational thought will prevent you, like, or will give you a chance to choose if you wanna really react to the emotion you're gonna feel at that moment.
Yeah. So whenever you feel an emotion, that's your trigger to use one of the response that you said. So maybe it's to do like 1, 2, 3 push-ups. Maybe it's doing 1, 2, or 3 deep breaths. But actually do something that becomes a habit, a new habit, when you experience an emotion. And I really love breaths, because when you do them, you're sending a signal to your body to relieve the emotional tension. So every time you exhale, you can actually let the emotion go, the tension go, and that helps for sure.
Like, breathing just helps. Like, every time I'm getting very anxious playing live hand. I can feel my heart rate increasing. I'm actually like acknowledging my breaths, and I will take a little bit deeper breaths, and I will actually become really calm because of that. Or like, I can like feel I'm really calm just because I'm focusing on my breathing rather than like what's happening there. It's just like you're taking your thoughts away of what's happening here, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna think of this. And like, if you think of this, you're not emotional, and like your body is not going to react to situation you're in.
Yeah. So your body feels calm, and if your body's calm, that sends a signal to your brain to be in that state as well, that mental state. So I like how they interact with each other. I like how you frame this. That I think that was great. So why don't we finish this recording with one deep breath? How about that?
Okay, we can do that. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. There you go. Maybe that was a bit cheesy, but yeah.
Yeah.